just jettisoned.
Hey there, this is the Small Stuff Podcast. My name is Kyle Roebuck. This is the intro. Let's start the show. Shelby. Hi, how are you? I'm going to get to the picture in just a second.
Okay.
How you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm great. So who are you, Shelby? Real quick for people who don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's what's your name?
That is so vague. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Shelby Dueitt.
Shelby Dueitt.
Yep.
Social media influencer of sorts.
You could say that.
Kinda,
I guess. Sure,
right?
Sure.
I mean, you are.
It used to be. I'm trying still. Maybe.
I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, how many followers do you have on Instagram?
Like 148,000.
Yeah. Shut up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see that disgusting picture. We were just talking about tonsil stones. If you don't know what tonsil stones are, look them up. If you do, I'm sorry. And that is exactly. So Shelby is showing me a picture right now that says it's a kidney with kidney stones. Turns out kidney stones look exactly like tonsil stones.
Ew.
Yeah, just maybe not as big.
Right.
Because there's not as,
Okay.
But yeah, no, it looks just like that. Some of them are a little more craggly. It's kind of gross.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's. I had a kidney stone once.
I don't think I ever have.
Twice.
Knock on this table.
Awful.
Yeah, that's what I
Awful.
hear.
I thought I had appendicitis. It was kidney stones.
Oh, so anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, you are do you consider yourself a former bodybuilder or a bodybuilder?
Definitely former.
Well,
I mean, for
Don't
people.
be so hard on yourself. You still work out.
Yeah.
You're just doing it for fitness, though, now.
Well, I took like 3 years off because of a lot of things that, I mean, we can't or don't have to get into. It doesn't really
It's up to you.
matter to me. But it all kind of just compounded. Sorry, still.
No, you're good.
On me, and I
It's just a
decided
cold.
to.
It's just a cold.
Well,
Everybody, it's just a cold.
I don't have it anymore. I just have like a little flame.
It was last week. Calm down.
Yeah. So I might be sniffing a lot.
Yeah.
Also allergies. It's been rough. But yeah, I quit for almost like 3 years being consistent, and then I started getting like all these health issues and stuff that I've never really had before, and it makes it really hard to stay consistent. But I'm trying to get back into it.
What do you think the health issue stuff was stemming from? Like diet or working too much or
I
working
think
out too much?
it all started when I quit working out, actually. So I think that was it. I started staying indoors a lot and not like going around people, and I think that also had an effect on my immune system.
So while you were bodybuilding, everything was Gucci.
Yeah, I was never sick at all. I used to work out in a garage gym, I guess you would call it, or warehouse gym. I used to live in Houston.
favorite.
Yes, we had no AC, no heat, nothing. We had like a bunch of rusty fans and
Yeah.
a bunch of rusty equipment. Wanted to make sure you had your tetanus shot to work out in there. Never got sick one single time when I used to work out there. Everything had like half an inch of dust on it at all times.
A protective layer.
Yeah.
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 To keep the germs in.
Yep.
No, I've seen old pictures. You don't even like your face doesn't look the same.
Mm-mm.
Like when you're like I've seen stage like you like stage prepped,
Yeah.
I've seen you like that. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, now that I know you more, it does look like you, like in the face. But I mean, you forget how much that changes somebody.
Especially I gain a lot of fat on my face anyway. So my facial structure, I mean, it doesn't look the same.
Yeah, I mean, you look like a completely different person.
Yep.
It doesn't help that you're like 500 shades darker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
So when you're on stage, what was the ideal body percentage you were trying to get to?
Oh my gosh.
Is it different I imagine it's different for
men versus women? Yeah. Men
just
can
'cause
get
you guys tend to carry more fat.
Men
just
can get quite a bit
naturally.
lower. Men can get, I think on average, they go at least like 3% lower than women. I could be completely wrong here, so please don't quote me on this.
Yeah.
I want to say for women, it was supposed to be like maybe 6 to 10%.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and people
I could
like,
not imagine.
oh my gosh, somebody commented on one of my photos, or that last video that I uploaded on my Instagram, actually. the other day and was like, yeah, you have body dysmorphia. Sorry, I wanted to turn that down.
No, you're good.
You have like body dysmorphia because like you're lean right now and stuff. Because I said that I was flabby, and from a bodybuilding perspective, I am
Relative to what you were.
right relative to what I used to be, and then
Yeah.
the amount of muscle that I've lost also contributes. But yeah, I've found that society, for the most part, I think they, if you're not in the bodybuilding community or the fitness community and you don't understand, you haven't like done some research,
Yeah.
then people think that your body fat percentage is a lot lower than it really is. People look at someone like me and be like, "Oh, you're like super lean." And I'm like, I'm not at all.
What do you think you're sitting at? Like a 15?
I would say between 15 and 20 right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
I felt like 20 was probably a little high.
Not necessarily.
Because you still got a lot of muscle on you.
I have a lot of fat on my arms right now, and I hold fat pretty badly on my arms, my legs. My legs look like, oh, we're gonna have to get some.
Yeah, I'll fill that up in a second.
And gotta open that
Yeah.
at some point. I hold fat on my arms, I hold fat on my face, and on my legs. So a lot of what looks like muscle on my legs is fat.
There's still a ton of muscle down there. Like
There is, but not nearly as much as there used to be.
yeah, I mean that's like right now. I'm like I've gotten down just from I stopped eating like as much, and then we cut out fast food. I know we've talked about this. And just trying to eat less overall. And when I do eat, I'm trying to do it cleaner. I'm also trying not to eat until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I'm just like going as much as I can before I eat.
Right.
Just trying to get a little leaner. And I've noticed I'm a little leaner. And lean's probably I'm a little less fat. Like I'm a little less chunky. Lean's not the right word for me.
You're leaning out.
I'm like
It's
a
fine.
I'm like a Wagyu steak. There's so much fat here.
Oh my god.
No, but I noticed that I am a little smaller, like, but I still weigh like 312, which is nuts.
Really?
Yeah,
How tall are you?
6'4", 5-ish. Not as tall as Jake.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not as tall as Jake. Jake is slightly taller than me.
See, I'm looking at you guys from like down here, so
Looks about the same.
I can't tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I still weigh 312, and that just tells me I've retained. Because I look similar to what I used to.
Right.
But that just tells me when I was doing that really dirty bulk that ended up hurting me.
Dirty bulk.
It was so bad. I was eating everything.
Oh
I got really strong, but I also got really big. Like I got up to like 330.
If you look at a lot of the professional power lifters.
Yeah, they do that. They don't care.
No.
Yeah, they're on all sorts of shit.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying like they don't. They're just trying to lift heavy. They'll worry about their heart later.
Yeah.
But that yeah. So my point is, I think we probably retain a little more muscle than. I mean, maybe it depends on the person.
Yeah, genetics plays a huge factor. I think there's also a difference in gender, men versus women, in how much muscle you retain.
Yeah,
But
testosterone and shit.
yeah,
Yeah. Was that Brighton, buddy? This is the only cut I'm ever going to ask you to make. Do you want to talk about your steroid usage?
I don't have any issue doing it.
Okay.
Like, I'm totally fine talking about it. Don't care.
Scratch that, Brighton. Leave all of that in.
Okay.
And for those of you watching, I just wanted to make sure Shelby was cool with it. It's actually something I forgot to ask about before we started. So do you think when you left bodybuilding and got off everything,
Right.
do you think that contributes? I mean, obviously it would contribute to the muscle loss. Did you have any like negative psychological mental things going on? So I did a paper, just set this up, sorry. I did a paper in college about body dysmorphia.
Right.
Bigorexia was the nickname, I think. And it was bodybuilders who would get addicted to steroids, even though they're not like, addictive in the same way that nicotine or something like that would be. But they alter your mind over time based on how you look. You know, your perception of yourself.
Right.
And when you hop off, a lot of bodybuilders would get super depressed because they would be really small in their eyes.
Yeah.
They go from the size of like trucks to like the size of, you know, a large sedan.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not happy about it. And a lot of them will end up, you know, committing suicide because of that. Super. I mean, like they go into a really deep depression.
Yeah.
Did you experience anything like that hopping off?
Not like when I was hopping off, because and this again plays a factor into my genetics. Like my mom is a couple inches shorter than me. I'm 5'2" on a good day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're tiny.
Yeah. My mom's arms are about the size of mine, and are about the size of mine even when I was taking stuff. So I have really good genetics, so I held on to a lot of muscle mass. Apparently, that's what I was told, compared to most women. I held a ton of muscle mass. The only thing that screwed me over, and the only reason I look how I do now, is because I had a shitty diet for like 3 years and basically didn't work out for 3 years. I think I would look a lot different if I had kept up.
Yeah.
Even without taking anything, so... Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Like, I'm extremely hard on myself. I'm going to sound horrible for saying this. I hate how I look now. Like, I really do.
Why?
I just, once you get embedded in that fitness community, and you see, like, I have a ton of friends who are still in that community who still compete. And seeing them every day, not that it's a bad thing. Like, it's inspiring, but, like, it kind of sucks because I'm just, like... I feel like the kid that gets left out in dodgeball or something.
Yeah, I had a little bit of that. Obviously, I wasn't like, you know, doing what you were doing, but I did used to be much smaller than I am now. Did I ever show you like an old picture where I had the no hair?
Crystal's shown me some stuff.
Like stuff she took, because that wasn't my smallest.
Stuff that you sent, I think.
Oh, okay.
Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
The one I'm talking about was from like 9 years ago now, almost. I was 215 pounds.
215.
Yeah, and as tall as I am. I was a beanstalk.
Good Lord.
And I still thought I was fat.
Yeah.
You know, so I had that going on. And then, especially when I stopped working out, it took me a very long time. It was honestly the last 2 years that I was like, okay, fuck it, I don't care. You know, I mean, I want to be healthy, you know, me and Crystal decide to have kids. You know, I don't want to eat McDonald's all the time.
Yeah.
And die when I'm 45.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you ever watch Bigger by the Day? I think that's what it was called, right?
Bigger by the Day.
Is that the one? No, it was Super Size Me.
Super Size Me, yeah.
It was the McDonald's one.
Yeah, we had to watch it in class in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a second one I want to check out. I don't remember what it was. I mean, it's the same guy. Right. It's just Super Size Me 2 or something. God. Yeah, it's another, and there's a specific, it was like a subtitle, but I don't remember what it was. It's about something specific. But, yeah, that's a crazy thing that, like, bodybuilders, I mean, not only bodybuilders go through it, but the very specific circumstances surrounding that particular, like, type of depression.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's opposite of anorexia.
Yeah.
Like, literally. Yeah. And by the way, I think the stigma against steroids is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, I did papers on it in college.
It's so dumb. It's so stupid.
So go ahead.
Sorry. I think you should be able to, you know, take whatever you want to take, especially if you're trying to look like fucking Jay Cutler or Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to look like them, sorry, I don't know any female bodybuilders other than you.
You're fine.
If you're trying to look like those guys, there's no way you're gonna get there.
No.
And you're absolutely out of your mind if you think you can do that without steroids.
So that's something that irritates me a lot as well. Is you see a lot of you could say bodybuilders or like these icons in the fitness industry. For example, Mike O'Hearn. I don't know if you've ever heard of Mike O'Hearn.
Yeah. Superman.
I don't know if he still claims that he's natural, but There are quite a few people, men
He
and
claims
women.
he's natural.
A lot of people do complain that they're natural. Tons of people claim they're natural. It's the same.
I think
with, like,
Steve Cook does too. There's no fucking way.
Well,
I think to
so-
a certain point he was, and then he passed physique
So
model, and I was like,
yeah. So here's
might
the
have hopped on
argument.
something, bud.
Well, I think from my understanding, the argument is there's like two different things, right? So there are two like big groups that play a factor in like gaining all that size and being that lean and all that. There's your steroids like testosterone and such, and then there's also HGH or human growth hormone, which a lot of athletes will take. So a lot of people will take like HGH and not steroids, and they'll argue, well, I'm natural because they're not taking steroids. And then there's the other argument that I've heard where people are like, well, testosterone is naturally occurring in the human body, so like I'm natural. I'm like, it is, and as is HGH and all that other stuff. Like it is naturally occurring in the human body. I guess that's an argument to be made, but I mean, at that dosage, no.
I'm naturally boosting my testosterone
Exactly.
by naturally picking up the syringe with my natural hand
Yeah.
and putting it naturally in my butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
I thought The Rock was natty for a while.
Oh my god.
Like legit. I was like, nah, man, he's natural, because I was one of those guys who was like, I can get like that. No, there's no way. How old is he now? He's pushing 50,
He's gotta be.
and he's like, he could still run in the NFL if he wanted.
Yeah.
Like,
It's also funny to me, a lot of people don't realize that it's not just like these big, huge people and these people in the fitness industry specifically, they're taking these things like the steroids and the HGH. Like a lot of actors, a lot of people in Hollywood,
yeah.
they all take human growth hormone because in a certain dosage, I mean, it's kind of like anti-aging, keeps you lean. There are a lot of benefits, actually. I've done a lot of papers on human growth hormone.
I was listening to a podcast or something recently, a few months ago, that I'd never thought about the whole actor thing, them taking steroids, and somebody mentioned something about Tom Hardy. You know, like going from, you watch some of these guys, they're like, you're going from this movie to this movie, and you look like this here. Like, let's say, did you ever see the movie Locke with him? Tom Hardy. It's a really great movie. Super, like, it's every single scene, the entire movie is in this guy's car as he's driving from work to home, like a long distance commute.
And it's still a good movie?
It's so good.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons it's so good. And it's really impressive they were able to do what they did. Anyway, he looked like a normal dude in that. And let's just say he jumped from that to being Bane.
Yeah.
You know, and like, yeah, I stopped shooting here, and then, you know, I need to get super swole in like 2 or 3 months to start shooting here. And while you can do it, you're not going to do it. He was pretty soft as Bane, but he was still huge.
Yeah.
He was thick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, not everyone who takes these things even has to look larger. Like, I guarantee you, people like J-Lo and stuff are taking stuff like this, too. Because she doesn't look buff or anything, but it doesn't
It helps you stay lean, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Certain things do.
It's anti-aging. Helps you. It depends on the dosage. It depends on what you take. But, yeah I'm sure she's not natural.
So I don't know a ton about a lot of steroids. I know like your basic stuff, testosterone,
Right.
HGH, and that's about where it ends. Like, you know, I know those two, you know. But I know of the name Tren, I don't know what's the rest of the word. But that's all I got.
Okay.
So what does Tren do?
Oh God, don't I that's something that I never took, so I can't quite answer that question. I didn't do much research into it because I didn't care to.
Okay. Here's a question.
Okay.
What, if you're okay with answering it? What was your stack?
So for a little backstory on this, I kind of got thrown into taking stuff, and I probably didn't need to take as much as I did, and I think I almost died because of it. Because I also had an ex who got me like into party drugs and stuff. Luckily, I don't have an addictive personality. I never got addicted to anything. So I was like doing party drugs like MDMA and stuff, and going out sometimes on weekends to like clubs and stuff. And then I was also doing this like prep for the show. So I was taking T3, which is like a thyroid hormone.
Okay.
So I was injecting that for a little bit of backstory on that. Like, it's normally given to like morbidly obese people who are like bedridden.
Yeah.
To help them lose weight.
So that they can eventually get up and start exercising.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of athletes will take that to lean out. A lot of athletes will also take clenbuterol. I didn't do too much research at the time into it, so I can't tell you exactly what the function of it is. But I know both of those will wire you. Both of those can cause heart problems, and they both help you lose weight. I could eat like pizza every day. I could eat like extra large pizzas and a 12-pack of donuts and still lose weight. Yeah, given all, you have to remember, like, it's not just about steroids for people. Genetics play a huge factor, too. So that did help. And not everyone would be able to do what I could do.
Yeah.
So I was taking those two things, and I took Anavar as well.
I've heard of that one.
Anavar, it's more like, it's known as, like, more the women's steroid. It's very light. You shouldn't get a lot of side effects from Anavar if you're not taking an extremely high dose. And with someone with my genetics, like, I wouldn't have had to have taken a lot. And then at one point, I was also, because my shoulders don't grow naturally, like, at all, no matter what, I was taking Winstrol. I did oral for almost everything. The only thing that I ever injected was it got to a point where my shoulders were just, like, not doing anything. So I did spot injections of Winstrol into my shoulders to get them bigger, and it did work, but that's also extremely dangerous. I didn't know any of this at the time because I got thrown in between a really crummy ex that I had that was also a drug addict that got me hooked on everything, and then between like him and a really crappy turned out to be bodybuilding coach. They had me taking like triple levels of everything I should have been taking. So I only took stuff for maybe 6 months. So I know people like thought that I took stuff for quite a bit longer just because of how I look, but I just retained from when I was on. And luckily I did end up finding somebody who helped me get off of everything safely. So a lot of women, especially, they'll find these like really shitty bodybuilding coaches that will do exactly what my old coach did to me, and they will try to get off of it, and they either don't have the genetics that I have, or they didn't talk to somebody about getting off properly, and it will really screw them up. They will blow up in weight. It'll be very difficult for them to get off of it, and then it also messes with your hormones.
Yeah, I was about to say, it would fuck with your hormones quite a bit, especially if you just jump off.
I will say, like, I was angry.
Probably, like, where the weight gain is probably most of it comes from.
Right. And I did for about a month accidentally take what I thought was a lower dosage of Anavar. So my shitty ex actually, I came home one day from work and asked him, I was like, hey, do you know where my Anavar is? Like, I need to take it, because I would split it in half. And so it was like a little tablet, kind of. And I was like, hey, do you know where it is? And he's like, yeah. So I swapped you out for like a lower dosage since you're splitting those in half. I swapped you out with this guy, like, I gave him the higher one and got you like a lower one so you don't have to split them in half anymore. So I took it for like a month. I gained 15 pounds in a month. 15 pounds in one month.
Solid pounds.
For the most part. So
that'll tell you something.
And the reason that my voice is deeper isn't from anything else that I took, but he thought he swapped for a lower dosage of Anavar with this guy, and it ended up being D-ball.
Oh.
Which is
I've heard of that one too.
Extreme masking. Like, it's not abnormal for people to gain 20 plus pounds in a month on it.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah. So it also messed up my voice. So obviously my voice is a little bit deeper than it used to be. It's not terribly different, to be honest. I never had like a very feminine voice, and neither does my mom. So my parents don't think it's that bad, but of course, like, I'm pretty self-conscious about it because people come onto my YouTube channel and stuff, given I don't post much on there right now. But people will come in and be like, yeah, you're a steroid abuser, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is
Well, they're going to love this.
completely the fault of one of my exes.
Yeah.
Like, and it's really hard for me not to hold a grudge to this day because I used to be able to, I mean, I couldn't sing, you know, as well as like you or Jake or something, but I used to do harmony and stuff for my sister some. Like I could.
That's
my
right, 'cause
mom
your
tried to get me
sister's
she's
an
a country
artist.
music artist, yeah.
That's interesting.
And I mean, I could hold like harmony and stuff, and I was okay, and I can't anymore because of that.
You could if you practiced, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, it's very frustrating. Like sometimes I'll try and talk at a higher pitch, but I mean, at this point, like, who cares?
Yeah.
People are gonna say what they're gonna say, and
Not every female has like a high
yeah.
voice.
I mean, it hurts my feelings sometimes. I'm not gonna
I mean,
lie. Like, that's
yeah,
probably one
I
of the few
understand.
things that like kind of hurts my feelings because people also like it also adds to that stigma with performance enhancing drugs. People just assume steroids are a shot into your butt. Always.
Yeah.
People assume that it's all like manly stuff. And I'm like, actually, there's quite a few performance enhancing drugs for females. And I guarantee you, like half the models you see that look like they don't have a lot of muscle, they're really lean, they're probably taking some form of performance enhancing drug anyway. People just don't, I feel like society doesn't know because everyone's going to lie about it. Like how a lot of celebrities sit and lie about plastic surgery that they've obviously had.
I don't understand that. It blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean,
they have to do that at all, or that they think that that's fooling anybody.
I don't like that, and I don't agree with it because I'm all about being honest with people because I would hate for somebody like younger or something to see like pictures of me or something online and be like, I want to look like her. I can look like her. And I'm like, not necessarily. Like,
Here's a list. Go to the pharmacy.
there's that. And then I've also, like, I had a breast augmentation as well. Like, nobody that I've ever heard of can hold weight on their lower half and their upper half, no female, and have a slim waist without some form of surgery.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not possible.
It's an interesting take. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny because most people who make comments on my Instagram always make comments about my lower half being fake. I'm like, nope. Nope, actually.
No.
And it is very frustrating, too, because people will argue me down that I'm lying. And I'm like, but I'm so upfront and honest about everything. Why would I lie?
Yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah. I think another thing that people assume about steroids, we'll hop off steroids eventually. It's just very interesting.
It's fine.
To me.
Yeah.
One thing people assume about it that bugs the shit out of me is people like they'll look at somebody like The Rock and be like, oh, he's saucing or he's juicing or whatever, not saucing. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What? He's saucing. No, I was trying to say juicing. I don't know where that came from. It's just some dude saying, he's on something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, so?
Yeah. Well,
He's
that
still,
irritates me, too.
Like, it's not magic.
No, not at all.
I had to explain it to, I think it was Crystal, but it wasn't like for any particular reason. It was just like, hey, let me tell you this interesting thing that I don't think that we've ever discussed. Like, it doesn't necessarily help you gain muscle as fast.
No.
It helps you heal faster for
Yeah.
the most part, so that you can work out your entire body every day.
Yeah.
If you wanted.
Yeah, it helps. That's why a lot of athletes take performance enhancing drugs. Isn't for like the muscle gain or anything. I mean, it depends on what sport or whatever you're competing in. Some people do take it so they can like lift heavier, but a lot
so
of
you can train more.
yeah, like baseball players and stuff. It's because they recover faster. They heal faster.
So if anything, they're working harder.
Yeah.
Because their heart's also working a lot harder.
Yeah. And that it irritates me so badly when people are like discount somebody's hard work because of performance enhancing drugs. Because I personally have seen people in the gym who I knew were taking these ridiculous amounts of stuff. I knew one guy that was taking stuff for 8 years.
And just looked
He looked
like a normal
and
dude.
I know that he was getting okay stuff. Okay. Because I was like, is he digging this stuff out of the dumpster? Because, and no.
It's not working, dude.
And like, you find the network and like, no, I know who you got that from. And like, you're not changing. It's because they're not dieting correctly. They're not working hard, whatever. Like you can take steroids and look the exact same for 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it.
And just be a lot meaner.
Yeah.
Did you have that issue?
I did, but I was also in a really, really toxic environment fighting, like, I mean, like, breaking up every few days and
Wow.
living with this guy. I found him out at a restaurant like twice with one of the girls he was cheating on me with. He was so crazy. Like, at one point, I would moved out and he asked me to go feed his dog, sorry, when he was out of town. And he ended up telling me later, because he asked me and then he asked another ex to go over there at separate times of the day. He had put toothpicks on like all the doors and in all the drawers and everything. Because I guess like if you were to open something that he didn't want to open, then the toothpick would fall or snap, depending on how it's set up. Yeah. So he did that.
Psycho.
Absolutely. But I felt like I was the psycho one because his mother actually sent him like this little plaque thing for Christmas one year. And it was like, it's better to have loved and lost than be married to a psycho, about me.
Oh, wow. And what a nice lady.
Yeah. This guy, I mean, we're talking about a guy who like slipped stuff into my drink and called me a cow when I weighed like 105 pounds. For reference, right now I probably weigh between 115 and 120.
How tall are you? You said that already. 5'2"?
I think I'm 5'1" and a half. Okay. I say 5'2" on a good day. Yeah. But I had a lot more muscle and I was very lean at the time. And he like spit in my face and called me a cow and like, the things that I went through in my past relationship were like awful. So
yeah, that sounds really bad.
That is the tip of the iceberg. There are so many terrible things. Like
we don't have to go. I mean, you don't want to.
TLDR. He was
too long didn't read for anybody who's over 28.
Sorry, he was an Army Scout sniper, Purple Heart recipient. He was going to business school. I did most of his homework, so I should have a degree in business because I'm the one who did most of his homework while I was working. Super, super addictive personality, like cocaine, meth, all sorts of stuff. But he presented himself very well to the public, so people like didn't know.
Wow.
Had a pit bull cane corso mixed with hip dysplasia, which he sicked on cats in the apartment complex we used to live in. Also had a crossbow that I never saw it. I wasn't around for that time, but he told me he had shot cats with a crossbow before too.
Wow.
And his dog had also killed like 2 or 3 cats, but since he was registered as a service animal, nothing was ever done about it.
It sounds like a piece of shit.
Yeah, absolutely. But he had me so like down on myself. And he would just lie, and I just kept going back. I ended up actually getting myself out of that situation. I had actually a guy that I had met through him that we'd gone out to dinner with one night. I asked my ex to go to a photo shoot with me, and he wouldn't go, and I was a little uncomfortable because I didn't really know the photographer at the time. And I had like no friends because he isolated me. For just a little bit of background here, my family lived 15 minutes away from me at the time when I was living with him, and I never saw my family because he had created this artificial like image in my mind that my family was horrible and they didn't want to do anything well for me, which is obviously not true at all. I have a very supportive, loving family. Mom's a little like, I mean, I've told you before about how my mom is. Perfectionist, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I ended up actually like messaging this guy because he was literally the only person I knew, and he went to a photo shoot with me and kind of watched and handled that. And I finally decided when it was time to move out. When my ex was, because I moved in and out a lot. Maybe I didn't clarify that before, but I packed all my stuff while he was gone. He had taken up extra shifts bouncing at a bar downtown, and I packed all my stuff and left when he was gone, and I never spoke to him again, blocked him on everything. He tried to email me, he tried to come to the house, all sorts of stuff. But that guy, I will like credit him. He did help me move my stuff out because I needed the help at the time because I needed to get it done on a time crunch. And he was the one who kind of talked me into leaving. He was like, you know, like, your boyfriend should be here. I was like, yeah, I know, but he yelled at me this morning when I asked him if he would go. Yeah, but anyway, I got myself out of that situation, so I'm very happy with myself. My family's really glad.
That's deep.
A little bit more on the TLDR. Like, I probably should have died in that relationship. I won't get into it, but
Maybe probably could have.
I like,
No, should
honestly,
have.
looking back, with all the things that were happening and all the dangerous positions he was putting me in, I should have died.
I'm glad you didn't.
I'm also very glad. I kind of had this, like, I know you're not exactly religious, but I kind of, at one point, like, broke down crying on the ground and had this, like, come to Jesus moment where I felt like I was being told, if you don't get out of this, you're going to die.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what sealed it for me.
Yeah.
I know, deep, dark. I know.
No. It's life.
It is.
I think the way you got out's the way to do it for some people. Not necessarily in situations as stark as yours, but in any situation where it's a toxic relationship, so many people have trouble.
Yeah.
Like, delete their number.
Yeah.
Block their number. And all of the things about, like, block them on everything. Just, you don't ever look at them. Don't see them.
Yeah.
Just forget they exist.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, it's very hard.
I know.
I went back, I mean, so many times. So many times.
I had a short relationship similar to that, where, I realized the solution is just cut everything off.
Yep. Once you finally are able to, like, break that thread, and once you lift that fog, I would say, and you can pick out, like, tendencies in, I think he's a sociopath. I think he, honestly, like, not to be rude or anything, I think he has, like, some sort of mental issues, some deep-rooted mental issues. I don't know what from, because he was a compulsive liar. There are things about the relationship that I still don't know if they were true or not, like, involving his childhood and some things that happened to him while he was first deployed, and, all these things, like, all these excuses for why he acted the way he did that he would tell me. I don't even know if they're true anymore, but I did finally develop this, like, ability, I would say, to pick out sociopathic tendencies, and I am very, very much, like, into cutting people off immediately if I think they are like that at all. So,
well, I can go and tell you your abilities aren't that good, because I'm a fucking sociopath.
They're different types.
I'm just joking.
Yeah,
I'm joking. Yeah, no, that's deep. I didn't know we were gonna go there, but I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
Let's go to how'd you grow up? Where'd you grow up?
A little bit of everywhere.
What's the backstory on that?
So I lived the first 16 years of my life in Alabama, like South Alabama. My dad worked for an oil company when I was young. Then he wanted to do better for the community and stuff, because he was, at one point, he was like head of something in the community, in the city we lived in. Small city, I guess, town, really. So I have two half-sisters. They are 6 and 10 years older than me. My dad was divorced once because he was cheated on. And my mom was divorced twice before because she was cheated on, and then she had an abusive ex-husband. Her second husband was extremely abusive, like, very scary abusive. And so my parents, they're still together, by the way. My dad raised my sisters and me, and, I never thought that they were half sisters, like, never felt that way at all. Yeah. We felt like we had the same dad. So he quit his job at the oil field when I was young and took both of my sisters through high school. He actually started a soccer program and a cross-country program at our school there, and had, like, a cross-country track built through the town for the kids. And he got so many kids, through school, and he spent so many hours after school, like, helping all these kids, and he did a lot for the community and a lot for a lot of kids. A lot of kids to this day still thank him for, being able to better their lives because of him. After that, we ended up moving. I went to school for a little bit around, like, the Orange Beach, Gulf Shores area of Alabama, which is, like, on the border of Florida. And then my dad took a job in the oil industry, again, working for Shell, and he was working, like, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. in Colorado and just flying back. After a while, he ended up getting offered a better position as like an auditor in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved to Wyoming. I think it was like spring, I want to say, of my freshman year. Around that time is when I moved to Wyoming, and I ended up graduating there. Actually went to college for 1 year in Sheridan, Wyoming, and played college soccer. And then I moved to Texas because I got injured playing soccer, and I could have continued if I wanted, but I moved to Texas because none of my family was up there, and it sucked because they had already moved to Houston, and then I got into like powerlifting and bodybuilding and all that. Yeah.
So what made you go from traditional sports and stuff to, bodybuilding, powerlifting, all that stuff? I mean, it's a big jump. I mean, everybody does soccer and cross country and all this shit, but there's specific things that have to happen for you to go, I want to look like that, especially, I would assume, if you're a girl in today's society. Right. You look at someone on the stage and you're like, I want to look like that. Yeah. Because it's like, you want to look like they're shredded. Yeah. So what makes you do that?
I actually started weightlifting when I was 16 years old. So when I lived in Wyoming, we had like a weightlifting class that we could take instead of PE, and I was like, I want to do that.
Same. We had that in high school.
It was awesome. Yeah, and the coach there, like, he was very into CrossFit, and he was very into Olympic lifting. And
boy, you gonna knock your shoulder in the next week doing them snatches. Like, that shit scares the shit out of me.
I think he actually had to have rotator cuff surgery.
Yeah,
he
no
was, like, super
shit.
Fit. So I kind of like got into it, but I wanted to do like more the bodybuilding style. There was a guy that I thought was like super cute in high school, and he would go into the gym a couple nights a week. They would open it to the public at nighttime, and they gave like a couple of guys in the community a key. And they did more of the like powerlifting style lifts. So I started going with one of my friends because I thought one of the guys there was cute, to be completely honest with you. And then I kind of like got a little bit wrapped up in like the culture of bodybuilding and all that. Like I remember watching like the Rich Piana videos and all those. And what was it? Ziz or whatever, the ZYZZ. You could look him up. He ended up dying. It's actually really sad. But and then I got into like the bodybuilding.com forums, like the shit posting and all that. And
I never got on the forums. I read them for advice.
They're wonderful. Yeah. I actually was kind of I was one of those people on the forums.
Troll?
Oh, yeah. I would troll the trolls back.
Okay.
Yeah. But so I mean, I loved weightlifting from the time I was 16, and then I ended up, going to college and played a year of soccer in Sheridan, and I could have transferred and played at a bigger school for soccer, but my coach there, like, he was really not into letting us lift and stuff in our free time because he was so afraid that we were going to get hurt. Yeah. And I was frustrated because I loved working out. Like, I was just super into it. And after I got injured, I missed all of my home games the first year. Some girl got mad because I beat her the whole game, actually, and came up and just like straight cleated my my calf, and I had a huge hematoma on it, and I would have risked like compartment syndrome. Like, I actually got screamed at by the trainers because I tried to play anyway. Yeah, if I got hit again, then So after that, I don't know. I kind of got depressed. Being up there, and I didn't have any family there anymore. And I had really good friends when I lived there, but my family didn't want me up there anymore either. So I went down to Texas for the summer and kind of got hooked on a gym there, met a bunch of people, made a bunch of friends, and they all powerlifted.
I'm sorry. Hang on real quick.
You're fine.
Okay. Sorry. I just want to make sure Crystal hadn't
gotten
mugged or something.
Oh, God.
There's no, like, relay between the outside and here, so I have to, if it's my mom or Crystal
fair.
Or maybe Crystal or my mom. I feel like maybe Crystal should come first.
Oh, my God.
It was just the order I said it in, whatever.
Wow.
So, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, so, I moved down to Texas for summer. Made a lot of good friends in a gym that I started going to, and they were actually competitive powerlifters.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like, oh, you're so strong. Like, you should do this. And so then I
Do you think it helped you to have like shorter limbs and stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. In some regards, like, it's good for some things. Longer limbs are better for like deadlifting, you know, because.
Yeah, you don't have to bend down as far.
For like bench pressing, shorter limbs.
That's why I like my short arms relative to the rest of me.
Yep.
I have a very thick chest too. Like even when there's not a ton of muscle here,
yeah,
I'm just big, and so like especially when I arch,
less
less
distance. To
I was
like,
weight. You know, I'm moving it like 4 inches. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the craziest shit about that. Just watching when me and Quentin, my buddy, I used to work out with him a lot. Me and him used to work out every day. He's actually we have a logo and everything for a gym, like the one you were describing.
Right.
We have a logo and everything ready to go for when he's ready to retire, and maybe I'll be back into lifting by then. At the very least, I'll design the place and, you know, put money up and everything. But we were going to open up that kind of gym and everything. But I watched Mark Bell. I'm assuming you're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
He did a little collab video with Furious Pete.
Mm-hmm.
Furious Pete's another fitness guy.
Right.
If you guys don't know, look him up. Channel's kind of silent right now, but he's going through a lot of shit. Or did a couple years ago. Anyway, Mark Bell was showing Pete, because he was trying to hit 700 on bench. Mark Bell was going to teach him how to immediately increase his bench. Like in one day, just practicing just the way you lift. And that whole, he did this whole thing where you want to pump your back up so you can really get a good like pinch back here. Mm-hmm. When you lay down, you want to shove your shoulder blades into the bench. So me and my buddy were like holding the bar and swinging this way, putting my shoulders down, and then yanking myself back. So I was like, you know, just really arched. And my bench went from, I was also like eating everything and trying to get really strong. But when we started that, I think my 1 rep max was like 255 or something. And then, I wasn't very strong. Not my bench press wasn't my thing. Actually, none of it was really my thing. I was always just trying to look smaller, and then I decided let's see how strong I can get. So went from that to maybe, I don't remember exactly how long it was. It was in the ballpark of like 5-6 months, something like that. And I went from a 1 rep max of like 255, 275, something like that, to 315 for like 5 reps. And it was just eating like garbage and changing the way I was lifting. And I hurt my shoulder. It's because I was not working anything else out.
Oh, yeah.
I was benching, squatting, and deadlifting.
Oh, that's it?
That's all we were doing. Yeah, we were idiots.
No, you have to work out your the accessory muscle.
I hated that shit though.
Oh.
Accessory, and I tore something. I tore a ligament or something, and I wasn't in the gym because I couldn't do what I wanted to do anymore.
And then everything was gone.
Yeah, and then I just got fat. Yeah.
Understandable.
Like when I started working out with Jake, like that 1 week that I did.
Yeah, what happened to that?
I didn't want to pay the money.
It's expensive.
It's like $500.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. For me,
they said they would do month to month now. We just went in there the other day.
Yeah, I didn't have money at the time. I might do it. I don't know. We'll see.
All the gyms in town actually are like super expensive.
They're getting expensive. They're all getting like kind of, there's so many popping up that they're all kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So they can charge more because there's not another gym like this kind of thing, which I get, you know.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like Fit for Life.
What is that?
Fit for Life is down the road from Best Buy.
Okay.
They're like, when I first started going there, they were like $15 a month. But as things progressed, I think they're like $20 or $30 a month now. But they also have a very, very, very clean area and everything. It's they're not as big as Champions. I would say Champions, as far as lifting and equipment and stuff goes, has a lot more to offer. Fit for Life has like creature comfort stuff. Like they've got like a little turf section in one section that's cool. They've got like saunas and really nice showers and stuff.
That's really nice.
They've got so I think that's where you're putting your money there.
Yeah.
Champions, you're putting it in the equipment that you can, utilize the rooms and everything. And Planet Fitness is $10 because it's Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. By the
No,
way.
not at all.
There's plenty of swole people in Planet Fitness.
I worked out at Planet Fitness before.
The one here, Crystal was saying, the one here doesn't, like, they don't follow the rules at all. this Planet Fitness that's here, the entire gym. She's like, there's dudes walking around who are fucking huge in like stringers.
Oh.
And they're not supposed to. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to wear anything but a t-shirt. Supposedly.
Yeah.
I've never heard that alarm go off.
I haven't either in the time that I've been in there. But I also wasn't around like obnoxious lifters.
Yeah.
So
I've never even had that in a normal gym.
I have. I absolutely have.
I don't think, well, I guess the only 2 gyms I've been in town is Fit for Life and Champions. There's some dudes who get kind of loud, but it's not like, you're not being obnoxious. You're like, yeah, that shit looks heavy.
Yeah, no, I've had some weird experiences.
Guys just benching 135, yelling.
Yes, absolutely.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it is.
Put it down. Stop it. Oh. What's this?
My favorite beer.
Your favorite beer? It looks like wine. Is this gonna like shoot?
It
somewhere?
might, so you should probably.
Yeah, I need to aim it away from the cameras and away from the lights. Mainly away from the cameras.
Also away from me.
Did you shake this up at all?
No.
Okay, cool. So it should be fine to undo this.
I don't know. I'm scared.
It should be. We'll find out.
It's like corked in there.
Yeah. So usually when you take this off, it doesn't do anything if you haven't shaken it up.
Right.
So hopefully, I might.
I mean, Jake got his hands on it
look
at
like
one
an idiot
point.
in a
So I
second.
don't know.
Okay. And as long as you don't shake it up, it shouldn't pop. I know this from grad shoots.
Oh.
Because people shake it up. People make the mistake, by the way. If you're a photographer out there, you're doing a grad shoot, don't shake the bottle first. All your fizz is going to go as soon as the cork flies out. You're just going to get a foamy mess. It's not going to look that great. You're not going to get the spray that you want. What you do is you take everything off. Unless you want a cork pop, just go ahead and take the cork out and then have your person put their thumb over it and then shake it.
Oh.
You get all the fizz. All the fizz.
That's good enough.
Little pro tip.
Good enough. I ever decided to graduate.
Hold on. Is this going to... I just realized this is going to get all over the carpet.
Hold
on. Let me do it over the table. If it gets messy, it gets messy. Okay, we're good.
Whew.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happens when you don't shake it up. Right there. We're good. Little pop, and then we're good. What is this? Woo! Woohoo!
Oh, yeah.
It's got a sour, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a Flanders red.
Okay.
Kind of like a sour.
Ooh, not the color. Okay, it's not the color I was expecting because how much do you want?
It doesn't matter. It's only 6%.
Only 6%?
Yeah.
Well, okay, whatever. You say when.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
There.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to use my little red Solo Cup chalice. Got this when I was 19 when I was definitely not drinking. Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
When'd you start drinking? Hypothetically.
Also,
all the steroid stuff was hypothetical too.
I think hypothetically I started drinking when I was 19.
If OJ can do it, we can do it. Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
There's a lot of foam in that one.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm not even going to try. Should I? Can I? Do you have like a plug thingy?
No.
Didn't think that far ahead.
I should buy one.
Aha. Got it.
Probably got to get another glass at some point anyway. But, it's fine.
I mean, I would pop it again. I just didn't want it to like lose its stuff. This was the worst pour. I've never poured a beer that's this terribly. Anyway.
I would say that too.
Yeah, that's bad. I'll wait for that to settle. What were we saying? We were talking about. What were we talking about before the beer? Oh, when did you start drinking? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hypothetically 19.
Yeah, okay, so I'm not weird.
No.
A lot of the people I went to high school with started drinking when they were, teenagers. Like, I would even go to parties and kids are like drunk in a field.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
just
there. I'm like, I have to drive home. So
yeah.
I have to drive home. So I'm not going to do that, guys.
Yeah. I didn't really start drinking till some of the basketball players in my college started sneaking, and soccer, started sneaking in alcohol into the dorms. Ooh. And we would play quarters.
That is sour.
I love it.
It's good, but it's sour. Mm-hmm. Good God.
We would play quarters in the dorms. So it was very fun. Yeah. But I wasn't like out like drinking and driving. And
yeah, no.
I've never been into like partying that much.
Yeah, no.
No.
I'm the type. When I did go to parties, I really don't like parties now.
Yeah.
When I went to parties in college, I was the guy who be there. I would, especially if it was if I wasn't drunk yet, you know, I would get there, grab a beer,
Yep.
hang out for a little bit. If I got bored, which usually happened, or I just didn't feel like being around that many people because it bothers me.
It bothers me too.
Yeah, if I was smoking at the time, I would grab my cigarettes and go to the back porch and sit out there for the next 2 hours.
Nice.
Till I was ready to play beer pong or something. Yeah, that's always been me. But I didn't start drinking until I was 19 either. I never drank until I was.
Yeah.
I think I was 19. I might have been 20.
Like my parents, they would make like sangria or something, or like margaritas sometimes, and they would give me like a tiny bit when I was at home on like game days for like college football and stuff. But I never like went out and did any of that. I just had no interest. I also I've always had, it's probably horrible, but I've always, for as much as I trust people, like I also have a very heavy distrust. So I just don't like being in a public setting with drinks if I don't know where they came from, or if I have to, keep a finger over my drink at all, then I'd just rather not even put myself in the situation. And I've always been that way.
That's something I don't think a lot of people think about, and it's something, admittedly, that, sorry everybody, there's a gnat in here.
Oh, yeah.
It's distracting me. Admittedly, it's something I've, because I don't have to think about it.
Right.
I don't think about that kind of thing, and I'd be willing to bet most guys don't either.
Probably not.
Unless you're a bouncer and you're looking for that.
Yeah.
I would assume bouncers are looking for that. They should be.
Hope so. Well,
yeah. Is that a normal thing? Is that something bouncers, are they hey, you did this, get out?
I mean, if they're a good person.
Yeah, okay.
But
obviously.
There are a lot of bouncers, not speaking from experience, but I guess I am, who are more there to hook up with chicks and look cool.
That makes sense.
Show off some muscle, and they don't really care. Yeah.
That makes sense.
They just want to get in a fight with somebody that's acting unruly. So they look cool.
That's also never been me. That whole, if somebody starts trying to fight with me, why? Why?
Oh, I get.
Can we just talk? Can we talk? I mean, I'll fight, but I'm not, I'd rather that's the last thing I want to do.
I have a very short temper.
I'm not trying to hurt myself for you, to satisfy your urge.
Fair. I don't wish I would get into a fist fight one day. The closest I've ever been, I guess, was at a metal concert. I used to go to a lot of metal concerts when I lived in Texas because it's huge down there. And I would just go sit, drink, and I guess because of my looks and stuff, I could usually end up hanging out with the bands later. Full disclosure, I never slept with anybody. I would take one of my really good friends that was a guy, because he was super into metal too, and basically get us backstage and VIP for every concert.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I was walking to a bathroom at this one tiny venue in Houston, and this kid. Have you ever heard of what do they call it? In the pit. What do they call it? The kids that run around and swing their arms. I'm having a brain blank.
Oh, I don't know.
It's not moshing.
I know. I mean, mosh pit.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's basically in the mosh pit. They call them. There's a specific word for the people that run. It's usually smaller people, but sometimes they'll get some big boys in there, and they literally run around with their arms flailing.
You call them dumbasses.
Well, that too, but that's a very popular thing.
You're gonna get knocked out.
There's always a mosh pit area at a metal concert that has those people, and they run around.
I stay far away from those.
And
when I'm
some
at those
people love
concerts.
it. Actually, my friend, he loved going and being on the edge of those because the edge just shoves them.
No. Oh, well, okay. Maybe. Well, maybe I'd like to be on the third row of the edge, so maybe I could see it a little better. But I
like to sit back because sound quality is better further back, and then I usually would sit if there was a bar or something and just drink.
That's gonna turn ugly, really fast.
Yeah,
fast.
This guy. I mean, he was bigger than me, but this smaller guy was flailing around, and he kind of bumped into me, and I shoved him real hard. This is also I used to be a lot more muscular, so I was a lot scarier, I guess. And I was don't touch me again. And I went to the bathroom, and then on my way back, he hit me again and started running away. I grabbed his T-shirt. I pulled him back, and I dropped him with an elbow, on his shoulder. Cause he
I was about to say, this must be a very short guy.
Yeah.
On
they were
shoulder.
and I was just I told you not to touch me. And I still think about that because I'm
Makes you feel good?
Yeah. I did that. I know that is so childish, but
Yeah. No, I mean, you know.
if you're a small person, like things like that, definitely something to remember.
Look, you can't fuck with little people, man. Like, so my buddy Colton, he is a small person. He is probably, stand up real quick, just so I can. Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna see if I can get. Oh, yep, sorry, cord. Okay, no shit. He's probably as tall as you. Like that's it. He's a very small guy. But
does he drive a large vehicle?
No.
Does he want to drive a large vehicle? Is that a thing?
No, he's not.
He
doesn't have like a little man syndrome thing going on. He doesn't have to.
I do.
He doesn't have to do that. He is plenty confident. We got drunk one night and decided it'd be a good idea to slap box. Because it was just we've been friends for so long at that point, but we've never like tried each other, you know. And I'll tell you right now, that little motherfucker is sneaky. Like I've never had to. That's something people don't realize, man. Like especially if you're big, like you're just big.
Yeah.
You know, that's people don't fuck with you because you're big.
Yeah.
And most of the time, like you would be able to take the average person who has no training.
Right.
You know. Little people have training, man.
Some of us.
Life.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
life trains the fuck out of you.
True.
He's small, and he was way rowdier than I was as a kid. So, like, they got in fights all the time. I wasn't like that because I didn't have to because I was big.
Right.
You know? And so I've got reach, power. That's it. You know? He was like a squirrel all over me. Any opening was pop. Like,
oh, no.
I mean, he rocked my shit. I did not win that. And he busted my eardrum.
Oh, no.
I didn't know that until the next morning.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew he hit my ear, and I think that's what stopped it. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, oh, I'm kind of dizzy. All right, yeah, we're good. You win. Like, yeah, the next morning, and this isn't like gross. It's just like fucking weird. The next morning, I was headed to get us some breakfast, and my ear was still like weird. So I went to go like, pop it. And when I did that, air went out my ear because it's all connected, you know?
Oh,
so
yeah,
like it was, I blew and it just like went out my ear and I was like, oh my God, that is not good. And I immediately started Googling, like, is this like, do I need to go to the doctor? Like what's going on? It'll heal itself. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But for like a year, anytime I still don't pop my ears because I'm scared it's going to rupture again. But for about a year, anytime I went to go pop my ears, even after it healed, quote unquote, I always, like, it would sometimes rupture again. Yeah, sorry I'm burping so much. Ooh, that fine. Beer.
Blame it on the beer.
Yeah, I mean, what else would it be? It's not the water. Blame it on the beer. It's the beer.
It's you.
I'm not just gassy.
Maybe you are.
I'm not.
Okay.
What did I have for lunch? I shouldn't be. I had Chinese food. I'm not gassy.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Chinese food?
Yo, it was just chicken and rice. Like nothing super fibrous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
So what are you doing now? What are you doing these days?
I play video games and buy and sell Pokemon cards, and I have an OnlyFans. Mm-hmm. I actually quit my job. Well, that's another story I guess we didn't really get into with the supplement company that I used to work for and all that.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
We can start there and
do you want to do that?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
We got time.
So I guess there's no like weird gaps or anything. I ended up staying and like working on college in Texas. Mm-hmm. My dad took another job. He lives with my mother and one of my sisters. They live not with, but you know.
Yeah, in the same state.
Yeah. In the same city, right outside of New Orleans in a place called Waveland, Mississippi. My other sister, she's a mechanical engineer. She chose to stay in Houston, given she already wasn't living with my family at the time. So I was the one that was living with my parents while I was like going to college still.
And how old were you at the time?
20s, like low 20s.
You're in your 20s now.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm almost 27. I'll be 27.
I thought you were older than me.
I'll be 27 September 18th.
Oh. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I thought that.
I don't know, like 21, 22, 23.
Okay.
And I was still living with my parents. I changed my major like 3 or 4 times in college. I went in for engineering because that's what my parents wanted me to do. I had no interest in doing it. So then I switched over to geology because that's what my dad has a master's in.
Less math.
Yeah, I hate math. I always hated math. I never had a good math teacher, and it was just miserable.
Math sucks.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I'm just not.
No, I feel the same way.
There's two of them.
And yeah, I saw.
Oh my god.
Both of my sisters were really good at math, but I wasn't bad, but I never had like a good teacher, and they both did, so I was a little jealous.
Yeah.
But switched over to geology. I was really good at that, all my classes and stuff. And then I just kind of grew out of wanting to do that because I was like, I don't really want to work for an oil company like my family, like everyone else in my family. So I switched to, I was going to do like this like general exercise science. And I was like, I don't want to do that. So then I wanted to do physical therapy. So I took like a bunch of the specialized courses for physical therapy. And then I was like, well, I don't want to do that because I had a neighbor when we lived in Texas who was a physical therapist. And she was like, they tell you get to make your own hours and like it's great and all. She's like, I am miserable every day of my life. You should may as well do physical therapist assistant. So I was like, okay. So then I took some of the specialized courses just for that. And then I learned that there's like a price cap or the salary cap rather. And I was like, well, I don't really like that. So then I started going to school for nutrition. I had probably 1 or 2 classes, like general classes, actually, away from having a degree. I ended up, my family ended up moving. I ended up staying, and then I was managing a GNC for a little bit while I was like going to school. And then there was a supplement company that I spent a few years as like an sponsored athlete for, so they would pay me like monthly, and then I would, have a commission code, and I did pretty well in sales for them. And they messaged me one day because a lot of the guys that worked there that did like the marketing and stuff, they were super nerdy, and they found out that I was into like video games, and then I used to play competitive card games. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh competitively, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Super, and then I would play Pokemon for fun. And
how old were you when you were doing all that, by the way?
20
in the same around the same time. Okay.
This was like after I'd broken up with my ex and been away from him for like half a year to a year.
And I'm talking about the Pokemon stuff. When was all that?
Oh yeah.
Around the same time? Okay, cool.
Right.
Just wanted to make sure I was clear on that.
Yeah. So I ended up quitting college and taking a job in South Florida where I stayed for a year.
With the supplement company.
With the supplement company, right. And I streamed and did like expos and stuff for them and all that.
You streamed for them?
Video games.
Okay.
They had a whole room set up for me to stream because they...
Oh, for them?
Yeah, they wanted to...
That's pretty progressive.
They wanted to hit... Yeah, they wanted to hit that market.
Yeah.
And then they also started like a sister company that sold something similar to like G Fuel. Actually, it was better quality and better tasting, in my opinion, than G Fuel was at the time. G Fuels, I feel like they're better now. They have a lot more flavors. And
now that
stuff.
You're not working for that supplement company.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, the green apple that we used to have was really good, though.
I'm joking.
And,
I would never insult your morality like that, or your ethical whatever.
I mean, I would never work with G Fuel. Well, I would now. I couldn't at the time.
I was going to say, be careful.
No, it's not like that. At the time,
their top people might be listening. For whatever reason.
God, it's not that. At the time, I wouldn't really have, just because of the caffeine and stuff. I'm pretty careful about my caffeine intake because I developed like panic attacks. Don't know why. But caffeine I'm like hypersensitive, so I could sip on stuff, but I have to be very careful. Can't really have coffee or anything. And it's just not a product that I would take, and I'm not one to advertise something that I can't use myself and that I don't enjoy myself. They did come out, I guess, with a hydration formula recently. It's caffeine-free, and that I would be interested in.
Just pumped full of electrolytes and flavor.
And something like that, like I could definitely see myself representing and stuff if I haven't even looked into the ingredients and all that, but if it's something decent, then I would.
Yeah.
But, so I stayed down there for like a year. And then I ended up leaving to be with Jake in North Carolina and started working remotely. I did that for a few months, and then I got this, actually found out they cut my salary by 80% and cut my commission completely. And I was one of the top in commission.
You were still doing everything, though, right?
Yeah, I was.
You just weren't
I was doing everything they asked. Like, they would give me a list, and I would do it. The only thing that I wasn't able to do, Jake was working like 100-hour weeks for Mr. Beast.
Right.
And I didn't have a videographer. So, I didn't know anyone at the time.
That's an exaggeration, right?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Not at all.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
No.
So
Jake could be like, hey, we need you to work 100 hours a week. I'd be like, they're fast.
well, you kind of had it. Just kind of like
did.
bounced. I don't know.
Sorry.
They're resilient.
Yeah. No, if Jake ever needs me to work a 1,000-hour week, oh no, bud.
Mm-hmm.
1,000-hour, 100-hour week.
So I couldn't do like YouTube videos because I didn't have anybody to shoot and edit them because they wanted like a couple workout videos. And the workload that they had, if I probably still have it in an email somewhere, listed out was like insane. Way more than I did when I was down there. And I was like doing expos and stuff for them.
Sorry, I was trying to get the net, everybody.
You're fine. And basically they wanted me to stream like 6 to 8 hours every day. They wanted like a couple videos a week. And then they wanted like all these posts and like all this other stuff. And it ended up being like so many hours worth of work a week. It was wild. So I couldn't do the YouTube videos because I didn't have anybody to edit. And they couldn't have expected me to edit it all too and film it myself. Yeah. Like it's not possible in a public gym without looking like
a weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the other one.
God dang it. That one went up my nose for a second.
You should have snorted it. That would have done it. It would have been done.
Rather not. Can't be any worse than the COVID test, though. Going up your nose. So I found out that they cut my salary by my paycheck. Because I got a paycheck, and I was like, what is this? No, didn't say anything. Wow. Yeah. Full disclosure, I don't care. I'll roast them on here. Company's Blackstone Labs. I worked with them for years. I was one of the top people in the company in regards to like performance in the code usage. The only people who were above me were people who like actually personally trained people because I chose not to do that. People who would get their clients to purchase supplements using their code as they train them, you know. So I found out. So I sent a message to the CEO. And president of the company, and he was basically like, yeah, well, you haven't been doing any work. And then I sent receipts, we'll just say receipts of everything, and receipts of like, well, your vice president hasn't been emailing me back, and I've messaged him multiple times, and like, I'm not the one being lazy here. There's a disconnect somewhere in this company. And then he was like, well, I just didn't feel like you did anything that I wanted. I don't give a fuck about the other stuff. And I'm like, specifically referencing like the workout YouTube videos that I couldn't do. And I was just like, okay, that's fine. So I started shopping around for another company to represent. And I put in my 2 weeks. It was very professionally done, all that. Ended up finishing out my 2 weeks. Went on to another supplement company afterwards. It was very anti-drama, and I did some research when I was trying to pick another company to go with and tried to find one that this company didn't have beef with. Well, so I went with, like, I could have gotten actually paid more working with another company, but it was kind of like direct
competition.
Yeah. So I ended up getting a nasty message from the CEO and president's girlfriend.
Okay.
If he cheats on all the time, and she's okay with it, but that's
all right.
Not my business.
It's a bit of that's a hefty accusation.
Huge, nasty message. Really, after all he's done for you, blah blah blah, and you just couldn't help yourself. You just had to go do this. And then I started getting messages from their call center, calling me a man and saying, "Hope your boyfriend pays for your car note." Which the only person who I ever had a conversation with about my car note was the president and CEO of the company. Because that was something I brought up. I was like, why did you do this? And it's something he brought up after when I was like, why did you cut my pay? He was like, well, Jake said that you never had to pay rent. So I don't see what the big deal is. You're not having to pay rent there, are you? And I was like, but you're the one who taught me. And so I got a new car when like the day or before I moved to North Carolina. Okay. Because he talked me into it. Okay. The owner of this company. And I was like, well, you know, I still have a car payment. Like, I have a brand new car. And that's kind of messed up. So that the fact that the call center was messaging me on Instagram saying nasty things and bringing that up, like, obviously he was going around like a child speaking poorly about me. And then he goes on these like Instagram live binges where he'll just roast people. And it's always the same story. This has happened when I was working there. This happened to like 3 or 4 different people. And then it happened to me. And it's actually, I had a friend who's a videographer, really talented, who took a job with them later on.
You're not going to get in trouble for any of this, are you?
What are they going to do?
I don't know. I just want to make sure.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. He posted slandering me and lying because it's always lies. So my friend actually recently like quit, put in 2 weeks and started working for another supplement company. And then the same thing happened with him where this owner, like he goes and he posts on social media. I think I got it.
No.
Oh, shoot. I got it under my finger, but I didn't squish it.
They're tough little bastards.
They are. It's like little cockroaches.
I don't have cockroaches.
I'm saying they're resilient like a cockroach.
Gnats.
Okay. Small flying cockroaches.
Basically. New supplement company. Or
yeah.
Friend had the same thing happen.
Right. And he just got blasted on social media. But it's always the same story. It's always like they were a leech. They were doing work, or they weren't doing any work and getting paid for free. They were stealing money from me. And I actually had this girl that had reached out to me in DMs from Greenville, like a week or 2 prior to what he said about me on the Instagram live. And she asked me for like posing or something. I was like, oh my gosh, like you're so awesome, blah, 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 like talking me up in DMs and stuff. And I hadn't gotten back to her because like I was kind of out of the lifting world and I was kind of like grossed out by it, you know, because I was so irritated.
Yeah.
So I hadn't gotten back to her yet. She was in my message request. I did read it. And somebody had sent me screenshots when this guy went live because I didn't know about it. And she was in the live. This girl from Greenville, I think she actually ended up moving to Florida. She was in the live saying like, and I was working at Stumpy's for a little bit also, saying like, oh, well, I heard she works at a bar now, so karma's a bitch. And like all this terrible things about me. I'm like, you don't even know who I am. Like, you don't know anything about me, and that's not true.
Yeah.
But it's always the same story. Like, he slandered me. I actually almost got involved, like, court.
Yeah.
You know, over it. Because, I mean, I still, to this day, and I haven't been with this company in, like, 2 years now. To this day, I have people that will come make nasty remarks on my social media because of it. Because he just lied about it. And he lies about everybody. And it kind of is weird to me, like, stepping back and seeing that it's the same story with, I think it's upwards of 10 or more people now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's the exact same story.
Seems suspicious.
How do people not, like, catch on, okay, well, surely there aren't this many people doing the exact same thing to you.
Yeah.
It's not always, you know, like,
yeah.
It's kind of crazy to me that these people, like, don't realize. But, I mean, he's well known in the supplement industry for people who've, like, been in it for a while for being this way.
Oh, okay.
And so other companies, like, don't want anything to do with them. Like, there's actually, if you look it up, there's, like, a federal court case going on right now over, like, all sorts. I think there's, like, money laundering maybe and, like, illegal sales, like, overseas of forbidden product and all sorts of stuff. So I believe that court case is supposed to end. It keeps getting pushed back, but around October, and he very well may be seeing some.
Is that publicly available?
It should be.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't involved with the company at the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, it takes a quick Google search to see that case is going on.
If anybody out there is curious and wants to send it to me,
I mean,
I'd like to see that.
Yeah. I mean, you could just search up, like, Blackstone Labs court case.
Yeah.
Easy. It'll pop up. So, yeah. And then I ended up moving here and...
streaming for them became streaming here for them became you just streaming.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I got into that. And then, you know, I was, like, working. I was like, I need to go back to school or do something because I'm not making the money I used to be making. You know, like, I quit my college just to do this for this company and kind of got screwed over.
You're not far off from that whole situation. What, 2 years?
Yeah.
With 2020 not really counting?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So
1 year, really?
Yeah. At the end of, like, 2019, I sat and I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, you know, I was working at Stumpy's part-time, and I was like, I need to, like, enroll back in school, whatever. And I wouldn't mind going back anyway just to have a degree. But right now I owe nothing. So I have, like, no debt there. All I owe is, like, on my car and, you know, like, a tiny bit on credit cards, but nothing that I can't pay off easily. But I was a little stressed, and Jake was getting stressed, you know, because we only had, you know, free rent from that Mr. Beast house for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to provide, and I needed to make my own car payment.
Yeah.
Which I could say, like, you know, I've always made my own payments. I've never had anybody else pay. My car is my car.
Yeah.
That's another thing, by the way. Some of the people at the dealership, like, they'll look at Jake when I take it in if he comes with me, and they're like, so what do you want done to your car? Or what's going on with your car? And I'm like, it's my car.
Yeah.
Nobody else's car. Like, nobody makes this payment. I got this car with my credit score. Like, there's no cosigner.
Yeah.
That's something that irritates me. Sorry, I've ventured off a little bit there.
No.
But, Jake was the one who suggested it. Jake, and he had a kind of a talent manager at the time that he was talking to get, like, brand deals and stuff on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, why don't you do, like, a Patreon? And they said to do, like, an OnlyFans. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know, like, there's
a lot
all
of
these,
stigma.
There's a huge, yeah.
Which is why they're getting rid of porn, which is
they actually just went back on that. I got an email.
Yeah, they fucking should. That's a dumbass idea.
Absolutely. What
like,
made them billions?
For them, like, what?
Yeah. So they went back on it.
Fuck your image.
Yeah.
You're making bank right now because of ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't ban it.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
who's running that company?
Wild.
Rebrand or something. Don't just whatever.
Right.
That's not a smart business move.
But I started with the Patreon, and Patreon, I mean, it's similar, but it's got a little less of a, like, stigma, I guess, to it.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, but then
you hear OnlyFans, and
yeah,
you know,
absolutely,
it's the only thing you think of.
Yeah, well, I never did, but I knew some people that had it who I was like, I know for a fact that they don't show anything.
Yeah.
Some like cosplayers that I follow, and I was like, I know for a fact that they don't show anything because they make more money not showing anything.
And to be clear, I think that, like, by the time I became aware of OnlyFans, it was pretty. I mean, it was like, you know, what it was supposed to be, but porn had kind of taken it over.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I like hear.
Yeah, and most people
now.
do. I still get, you know, people, you know, but it also brings me people.
Yeah.
Because people assume.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good and bad.
Yeah.
But I had the Patreon. I had it for a couple months, and I mean, it was doing okay. But I had a lot of people that were like, making OnlyFans. Like, I don't like how Patreon's layout is, making OnlyFans. And then I started realizing, like, you can get so Patreon, it's like you set up these tiers, and people can purchase a tier, like a subscription, kind of like on Twitch.
Yeah.
Where there's all the different tiers.
You'll have to explain that, too, because I don't know much about that side of streaming.
Okay. So,
but I understand the tier system on Patreon.
So yeah, there's a tier system, and you know you can set like $1 a month. You could pay me $1 a month, and you get access to like feed posts, kind of like a Facebook. And then you could pay me like $5 a month, and you could get access to like behind the scenes of my photo shoots. And you pay $10, and you could get access to like all of the above, or all of the beneath, I guess you would say. And then also you would get access to
He went in the bottle.
Oh
God.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Protein, right?
He's still at the top. I don't know how to. Hold on.
You should just drink him.
Just gonna pour him into here.
Drink him. Did you enjoy your beer, by the way?
Yeah, I think he's in my beer. So
You gonna drink that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just turned into Fear Factor. What are you talking about? It's just a gnat. It's not gonna kill me.
Oh man.
Everyone thinks I'm gross now.
No,
awesome.
Not really. Did I just see another one?
I hope not.
What if he got out somehow?
Maybe he did. I don't know. Anyway.
So
Patreon.
I was doing okay.
Different tiers.
Yeah. Right. But there was not really an option on Patreon to like tip. So there's not really an option to tip on there. And that kind of sucked because OnlyFans has an option where people could just tip you. Now you just post something, and if they feel like it, they can just tip. Or you could charge by like photo set. Whereas Patreon, you can't really charge by set. It's kind of like, oh, you bought this tier for $25. Well, you get everything for the month that's on it. So I ended up switching over to OnlyFans, and I'm glad that I did because
it's a lot more lucrative.
Way more.
Yeah.
Way more. And like full disclosure, you know, I have friends who post sex work on there with just themselves. I know people I'm not as close to who post, you know, with other people. And then I actually follow like a lot of cosplayers and stuff on there because I think they're badass. And they post like lewds. So like not nudity, but like
suggestive or
yeah,
almost.
suggestive.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I do on there. I don't post any like full nudity at all. I just post. I like to have like mostly professional shoots because it just feels a little bit more professional.
It looks better.
Yeah, I think so too. And just like sell photo sets on there. So that's what I do right now. Like I said, I wouldn't mind going back to work or to college rather, so I could get a degree in something just to have.
What would you want?
I'd probably just finish my nutrition degree.
Yeah.
And just do that. I could do it online. I mean, something.
Say at that point you can sell nutrition plans,
right? And especially since I already have social media,
your huge Instagram
exactly.
following.
So then I would never have to work underneath someone else.
Do you have to be a certified nutritionist to do that?
You're supposed to be. A lot of people, yeah. So a lot of people sell diet plans. A lot of like bodybuilding coaches and all this, they sell diet plans.
Just don't call it a nutrition plan,
right? Because you're not really supposed to do anything unless you're a certified nutritionist.
Right. This gnat made it out.
It sure did.
All right. Well, I'm not drinking a gnat, everybody, because he's still flying around.
Darn. You should have just left it at that and would have added it. Or maybe it is in there and there's a third gnat.
I don't think so. There were only 2. I was pretty sure there's only 2. I'd like to think there's not a gnat in my cup right now. Yeah.
I'm sure that's the same gnat then.
Yeah, probably is. So, I was going to ask you about something, but I don't remember what it was. Maybe we'll just stick with the college thing.
Okay.
Do you still want to go back to that? I mean, you obviously want to, but is it something that you're going to try to pursue, or
I don't know. Like I do and I don't.
What do you want to do?
So I'm a very prideful person. And full disclosure, like I always had a 4.0 GPA. Both of my sisters were valedictorian in school, in a very competitive school. And my mom always was like, Audrey, Carrie, don't get mad at me if you're listening to this. Mom was like, well, you're smarter than them. Like, you were always so bright. Like, you just never cared. Because I did. Like, I had a 4.0 GPA for a while. And I ended up kind of in high school, like, slacking off my homework. And honestly, I kind of did it because, like, my mom, I felt like she would be kind of down my throat a lot. And I'm the type of person where I'm so stubborn that if you push me to do something, then I'm just going to do the opposite.
Yeah.
But I had good grades in college as well. Like I had A's and B's because I didn't turn in homework in college.
Yeah. I didn't apply myself in school.
I was one of the people who, especially for like my anatomy classes and biology and all that, I was one of those people who would get a study guide 30 minutes before the test on the test day from other people, study it, and I would fill out some of my own too. I wasn't like a complete steal credit from other people.
Well, a study guide's not like stealing.
Yeah, true, especially in college.
It's a study guide.
Well, we had to like create our own sometimes, but and I would study for 30 minutes before the exam and do better than almost everyone in the class, if not everyone that studied for like weeks.
Yeah.
So
I'd do the regurgitative thing too. That's all it was. You didn't retain anything.
I mean, I did.
I never did.
Oh, I did.
Not after like a week or so.
Math, never did.
No.
But I mean, in regards to stuff like science and stuff, but I've always been a really good reader. I had the 12th grade reading level when I was in like first grade, second grade. Yeah. I always loved reading, so I'm pretty good at retaining information. Now, if you tell me something and it's not like written out on paper, I can't remember anything.
Yeah. I don't have a 12th grade reading level now. Like, for sure I don't.
But I wouldn't mind, like the pride part of me wants to go back and have a degree just to say, I have a degree and I show my butt. Because people always assume, I think that's one of the only things that just really makes me mad, is when people assume that I'm stupid, or assume, that's another stigma too, with OnlyFans, that I have like a poor family or poor upbringing, and her father must be so proud.
Yeah, daddy issues.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I have like, my family loves me.
Yeah.
They're like, that's weird, but you're not doing anything bad.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how my family feels about it. And then I tell them how much I make, and then they're like,
okay, yeah, go off.
Yeah, they're like, well, and it's even got to the point where I was talking to my mom, and I was like, I've been asked a lot of times, like, when are you going to show topless? And I'm like, no, I'm never going to do that unless, I was like, if somebody paid me over $1 million.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I could take the money, invest it, and, like, live off of it.
Yeah.
And go, like, AFK on social media forever.
Yeah.
Then I would do that. I would delete all my social media and just live off of it.
Yeah.
Invest intelligently and live off of it. But before that happens, not going to happen. And I told my mom that, and she was like, That's smart.
Yeah.
My mom is very Christian conservative.
Yeah.
So for my parents to be like that, I mean, I feel like that should say something.
Yeah. For sure.
But I wouldn't mind, having a degree just to say I have it. I actually was thinking recently, since I like a lot of Japanese stuff, like I love anime and manga and the Japanese Pokemon cards. Like I buy a lot of the Japanese sets because I think they look nicer.
They do.
Absolutely. I think the card quality is better, everything. I was like, since I have all this free time, maybe I'll like take up learning Japanese or something.
Okay.
So I thought that would be cool. And I mean, that in its own would be a skill set to have.
That would be cool.
And so maybe I'll do that. I was actually talking to my sister about what the better programs would be for that. But yeah, I don't like people like, that's one of my pet peeves when people insult my intelligence. Like, you can say whatever you want about me, but like, don't insult my intelligence level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. For sure. You've lived quite a life so far.
I have.
More so than most people.
There's a lot that I didn't get into with my ex.
Yeah.
In regards to like...
We've talked about some of that before. Like, I think we've gone deeper than what we talked about
There's
here.
a lot of things that I caught him doing that I don't...
Don't oust him now, just because we've already named everything. We've named the company, and I don't know about that. I mean, maybe oust him. I don't know. That's on you. I'm just nervous for you.
Can we just... I'll keep it blunt.
Yeah.
And say, like, if anyone's old enough to know, like, the back door or whatever, or back pages of Craigslist, he was on there a lot.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Not a whole lot of that going on these days, as far as I know.
I think it's shut down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I've heard and from different podcasts and stuff.
He was
on
on there.
Here talk about it.
Yeah. He was on there a lot. He tried to get me involved in a lot.
There was a serial killer that used those back pages.
I probably should have died from...
Back in, like, it's somebody... I think it was somebody up in New York. And I don't think he's been caught. They've been caught.
Wow.
Yeah. It's multiple bodies on a beach in New York.
That's why when I think back, I'm just like, how did we not die?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shit that... a lot of stuff I've done that's like... I mean, there's a lot of stuff everybody does that you're like, how did... Like, I laid a motorcycle down, and... Sorry, I think my mom knows this. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening. But it wasn't even my motorcycle, and I was hammered. Should not have. Don't ever do that. Don't drink and drive. Definitely, like 100. Like, like people are like, don't do drugs, and like, don't even think about heroin.
Yeah,
it's like, don't drink and drive. And, like, drinking and riding a motorcycle should not be on your mind at all.
No.
Ever. Horrible idea. I hit a gravel driveway. I think I told you this.
Yeah, you did.
Gravel driveway going, like, 45 when I should have been doing, like, 10.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was not good. I didn't realize it until I was a few feet away, and I was like, uh-oh.
Oh.
That could have been a lot worse.
That's awful.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of... That's learning, Learn from that shit. I was irresponsible as an early 20s person, as most are. Very irresponsible.
Right.
And learn from it. Not in the worst way you possibly could.
Right.
Some people end up way worse situations.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely glad I didn't, but I think you just learn from it. Move on.
Hopefully,
you seem like you're learning from it.
Hopefully you learn from it. Yeah. I'm grateful for every day that I'm alive because of everything that I've done.
Yeah.
I mean, I just sit and like stare off in the distance and shake my head when I think about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, how?
It's a pretty it's a nice life. I'm glad I still got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am too. I mean, we all get depressed sometimes, but at the end of the day, I still have a lot. Yeah, I still have a lot to live for.
Yeah.
I mean, like, would I ever have thought that I would be in a position like this? No. I mean, I thought I'd be scrounging for the rest of my life or miserable.
Yeah.
After some of the things that I've been through, and You know, like I'm not where I want to be anymore physically. Tying back into all the bodybuilding stuff, but shit, I'm alive.
Yeah. You just got to keep going, keep grinding.
Yeah.
Shit'll pan out. Shit gets there.
Yeah.
You just got to be consistent. Keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and
Yep.
tweak it here and there, and eventually something happens. How's streaming for you now?
It's okay. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not very consistent. As I keep getting like colds or we're gone out of town, and I've always, you know, like I don't like if we're out of town or something. I don't want to ask Jake to use his because he has a PC that he can take that laptop with him that he can stream on.
Right.
I don't want to be like, hey, I need to stream, because at the moment he's the one making all the money streaming. Like I make like a $400 or $500 a month maybe streaming.
Yeah.
Which is
It's not bad.
no, it's not bad at all.
It's a good car payment.
Yeah, it is. And I don't want to be the one doing that. Or I'll come down with like a cold or something. And I'm like, I don't want to sit and talk. Or, you know, like a week ago, I was like, I don't want to sit and talk when I barely have a voice. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're quiet on a stream and you have people in there, and they're going to be like, why aren't you talking? And I'm like, I don't want to repeat myself 10 times.
Yeah.
So I think if I were to be consistent, then I would do a lot better. Right now, I average like 15 to 30 viewers on a stream.
What's a good number? Like, what's like, because I have no
You can get partnered
basis.
with Twitch. You can be partnered when you average 75 viewers per stream. That's when you get like more emotes, you get more perks and stuff.
What are emotes?
Emotes, they're like, you know, like the little smiley faces that you can send in text now. They're like
You get
those.
special ones for
You get
your
special
chat.
ones, so you can have an artist design your own custom emotes that you can upload. And if someone pays you a subscription, then they get to use your custom emotes anywhere on Twitch.
Okay.
So they could go into another streamer's chat and post your emotes.
Very cool. So there's some incentive to have, you know, your own personal touch to this stuff. Yeah. That's very cool.
And I think at certain once you get to a certain level, you can start getting more. So right now, like $4.99 a month, I believe, is like the average for tier 1 subscription price.
That's what I pay
like
Jake.
$5.
That's what I pay Jake every month because I forget that I have a subscription to him, and I get a notification from PayPal that says you just paid Twitch this, and I was like, oh god, shit.
I have a lot.
I've been doing it for like 6 months now.
Yeah.
And I just forget.
You should tell them to tack it into your.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah. So the streamer starting out gets like half of that, so you take like $2.50 per sub. $2.50 for anyone who's like, whoa. Yeah. $2.50 out of like 5. There's different tiers. There's like a $10 tier and like a $25 tier, I think.
Wow.
So yeah. So you can unlock different perks. Like some people will be like, well, you get access to these exclusive things outside of Twitch.
Oh, that's
like
smart.
I've seen some people who bake cookies and send them every month, or did before COVID.
Well, I wasn't even thinking of that. I was
sure.
just like, I don't know if I want that.
Yeah. Well,
Nah, I'm good. You send me like a T-shirt or something.
some people send like stickers and stuff out.
I don't want homemade brownies by just anybody. Like,
Right.
No, thank you.
There's some people where I'm like, I'm sure it's fine. Like they seem really wholesome and they also seem very clean. But of course,
I'll be thinking that when I'm on the toilet.
I mean, I've probably seen a lot cleaner than Jake. Maybe not so much, but me, like you would look at me and be like, oh, she's very clean and like very particular. My car, spotless. Our house, we also have 3 cats.
She's got a lot of stuff.
Well, that's the thing. It's not really like dirty, like grimy.
Yeah, it's just stuff.
We just have boxes everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Both of you are constantly getting sent things.
Oh my God, the amount of, like, we fill up our trash can, our recycle bin, and then have to go to the dump or wait another week, like almost every week because of boxes. Mostly Jake.
Yeah.
Mostly Jake. Like, I think he got 10 boxes, and some of them were as long as his table for his desk.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I think, like, once you get to, like, higher levels and stuff on Twitch, you get more from your tier 2 and tier 3 subs. Like you can negotiate a higher percentage. Stuff like that. I think they can promote you on their homepage. I'm not quite sure what all the other perks are, but basically, like, you get verified on there. You get partnership. It's like a check mark, like you get any other social media platform.
Twitter, Instagram, all the things.
All that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It would probably be nice to be a little more consistent. Hopefully, I can be. I keep getting sick. Never used to get sick, and it's funny. I never got sick until I quit working out for those like 3 years, and then I started staying indoors a lot and not being out in the grime and stuff. And now
you gotta get sun too.
I'm sick all the time.
Vitamin D is like important.
I take vitamin D. I actually take a vitamin D supplement.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to tell you then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then there's also the issue with the sun because I would love to tan. I love being tan. I know. You're looking at me and you're like,
no, I looked your arm.
I used to be very tan.
That spot looks tan.
I use this like self-tanning oil, and it sometimes.
Is that what you did like a few weeks ago? Is that still from that?
I layer it, but yeah, this spot, yeah.
Okay, it's just a dark spot.
You could scrub with an exfoliator. The stuff doesn't. It's not like a spray tan like Ellen does or anything. It just like doesn't come off.
Yeah.
Like, I could rub this raw, and it would still have this mark. I actually tried to earlier.
Wow.
Yeah. It takes a while.
Sorry I pointed it out.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, no worries. I mean, it works really well when it's on smooth. I think I, like, washed my hands afterwards, and, like, some water ran. That's why it's, like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would love to tan. I used to go use tanning beds and like sit outside and tan all the time because you look a lot better. A lot of bodybuilders stay tan because you'll look better. If you can't tone it, tan it.
Yeah, that's what my first trainer told me.
Yep, absolutely.
I started to use the tanning bed because he was like, tan fat looks better than pale fat.
It does.
It does.
But
you see a lot of big country boys drinking natty lights, just fat as hell, but real confident because they are tan and on a boat.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame them?
No, I'm just like, I'm white. I look like melted ice cream. I'm not okay.
That's all you.
Nah, I'm all right.
Wow. So
I still have work to do.
True.
Yeah.
So I used to tan, but as I've gotten older, I noticed, like, if I'm out in the sun too long or something, I swear, I get, like, a mole or something every time I get burnt. And I'm like, okay, maybe I need to start taking better care of myself. Like,
yeah.
So I won't tan. But I'm miserable because I'm not tan all the time.
Ellen.
I know. Dude, it's just with working out, especially since I work out at Skylar's a lot and there's no AC in that gym.
Oh, you sweat through it.
It like melts the tan off and it's patchy, and I would have to get tanned like every week.
Wouldn't you have to wait like a few days before you could
That's
work out?
That's the other
really?
thing. You're supposed to wait. Like, I think it's like at least 24 hours. Ellen, don't get mad if you're listening to this. Ellen's gonna listen to this, isn't she?
Maybe. I don't know. She's busy. She's a very busy person.
I haven't talked to her much lately. I hope she's doing well.
Yeah. She seemed very stressed out for a little while.
Always.
Just because she was trying to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get this last gnat. Did I get it? I did.
Nice.
I got it. That was loud. Sorry, everybody. I think all of them are dead. Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I had somebody up here, and I apologized for the gnats. And he was like, "It's that time of year, man." And I was like, "Oh, is this a normal thing?" I thought it was just okay. Good. That makes me feel better.
Great.
There's sand right outside here, and apparently that's where they lay their eggs.
Oh, gross.
Stuff. So like, we're surrounded. It's how he explained it to me. He made me not feel bad.
Very nice. Actually, I actually don't mind bugs and stuff like that, but I'm just gonna say it's gross.
It's just annoying.
Oh,
God bless. There's another one.
Terminator 3: Rise of the Gnats.
Yeah, Jesus. Oh, anyway. I think, are we at a good point to wrap? I don't know.
Fine. I mean,
did we leave a thought untied there?
Did we?
We were talking about Twitch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I'm good.
You good?
I mean, I could talk for days about different things. I'm very opinionated, even though I'm normally very quiet because I'm around Jake all the time. So people just think that I'm like a dish rag in regards to personality. I've had that comment before. Did you know that?
No.
People have called me a dish rag
You're like
before.
a dish rag. Wow.
I'm like, I just
That's
choose.
not even like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah. Just call me a dish rag.
Yeah. All right. Well.
But yeah.
You want to plug some stuff? You got plenty of stuff to plug.
Sure.
Go for it.
What do I even plug?
Instagram, Twitch,
Everything?
all the stuff. Yeah.
OnlyFans?
Sure, go for it. If
All
you
right.
want me to put the link in the bio for this, I will. I don't care.
Oh, no. All right.
It
So
might get you a couple more subscriptions. Who knows?
Shoot. So I guess you could find everything off of my Instagram, to be honest.
Probably just Google you.
That too. So
You're Googleable. Like
All
that's
right.
that's a thing.
that is a thing.
That's
a
cool.
thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
It's probably weird, but it's cool.
a little unnerving.
Yeah.
Kind of don't like it sometimes.
Yeah.
You can find like some high school photos.
Okay. I thought you were about to say a thing that I know is a thing. Never mind. I'll
No.
tell you later.
No, I know what you're talking about.
I was like, don't do that.
no, you can find like some high school pictures of me too,
Mm.
where I looked like I still had braces for my senior pictures.
Mm.
I didn't know how to do makeup.
Wow.
It's bad.
I didn't know how to do makeup in high school either, so don't feel too bad.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say my Instagram is probably the best place. From there, I have these little links, like in my little bio area, these little circle things that Instagram does now, and that links all my other socials. I have like,
Oh,
yeah, you didn't know you can make those?
No.
They're like highlights, so you can have like a little highlight. Look,
right.
Here,
I know what highlights are.
check it out. Check it out. Check it out.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Uh-huh.
What?
So on Instagram,
I'm learning something new.
Absolutely. See these down here?
Yeah. Are those links now?
So what it is like since
you
I have
can-
over
you can swipe
10,000,
up.
yeah, since I have over 10,000, I can do like swipe ups. So I have a
Oh.
swipe up on all of these.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to find any of my other content, it's all readily available.
That's why I don't. That's why I don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have enough followers. Yeah.
Yet
Yet.
we'll get you there.
We'll see.
Manscaped, come through.
Yeah, for real. I'm literally gonna tag them every
You should
week.
What the heck?
I'm gonna bug the shit out of them.
I'm gonna get all my friends to follow your podcasts.
That'd be great.
All right, we gotta start getting some crazy people on here too.
I don't think you ever said your Instagram name.
I'm getting there.
Okay, sorry.
It's Instagram.com/Shelby SHELBY dot like a period Dueitt DUEITT.
I just hit my monitor.
Were there just two more gnats?
Bro, whatever. Okay, we're gonna go. So, you got the Instagram. It'll be in the links for all the thing, whatever, the descriptions.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. Oh, if you don't follow Small Stuff Podcast on Instagram, go follow Small Stuff Podcast on Instagram
Yeah, what are you doing?
at Small Stuff Podcast. Also on TikTok. Also on YouTube now. I said in the last episode, might have been a little confusing. The last episode, or one of the recent episodes, I said that we were still doing videos on Thursday. We're not. They're moved to Saturday. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the videos. We're putting clips up that are exclusive to YouTube, so you're not going to get those on Instagram or TikTok or anything. They're just longer format clips, little interesting conversations if you don't have time to listen to the whole episode. But also listen to the whole episode
Yeah.
on both platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, available where you get your podcast, blah, blah, blah. Y'all know the deal.
Put
Goodbye.
it at a one volume.
Yeah.
Let
Okay.
it sit. Let it sit.
Goodbye.